lack of funds threaten National Sports Festival. Federal government and resident doctors yet to reach agreements. And Aisha Buhari launches biography. Glad to have you here on News Now. I am Folashade Ogrinde. The Abia State government has directed that officers of the local organizing committee and main organizing committee at the ongoing National Sports Festival in Benin be shut down. The decision followed Wednesday's revelation that the state has run out of funds to execute the festival. TV360's Mudashiru Shitu sent in this report from Benin City, the Abia State capital.
After 3 different postponements due to the coronavirus pandemic, the 20th National Sports Festival eventually kicked off on April 4. The sports festival, however, has been faced with challenges which threatens its continuation. Edo State government had, before the commencement of the festival, said it had no funds to prosecute the events. The state, however, got a promise of funds from the federal government to go ahead with events. But Nigerians were shocked when the state government announced that it will shut down the festival due to lack of funds.
Maybe shutting down the 20th National Sports Festival, not because Edo State is not ready, not because the facilities are not here. You can see for yourself that we have state-of-the-art facilities and all of them are in good shape, and all the athletes and even the officials are quite happy with the facility they've seen here so far. For us, it's the love for the nation and our support and the synergy that we have with federal government that led to the continuation of this festival. We have no doubt to doubt the federal government on its plight to fund the 20th National Sports Festival after much postponement, which was orchestrated by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The federal government, however, countered this by saying the festival should continue, although funds for the state are still being processed. At an unscheduled media briefing on Thursday morning, Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shuaibu, said the state has no choice than to take the painful step of shutting down the festival if funds are not received by 12 noon on Friday.
We've gotten full commitment by the Honorable Minister, who is the spokesperson as far as this sporting activities is concerned, the commitment of federal government to fund. And as a result of that, because of the trust that we have to look for sponsors that are not available because of the pandemic. We have to source. We have to get our vendors to commit their own personal resources and company resources with the commitment that when we get these funds from federal government as promised, we will pay them for what the services they are providing. As I speak to you, it took the grace of God yesterday for the caterers not to shut down. Other vendors are threatening to shut down. And hence, we LOC have no choice after our midnight meeting yesterday to shut down the 20th National Sports Festival if we don't get full commitment from federal government by noon tomorrow.
Offices of the main organizing committee, MOC, is also under lock. For now, everyone is hoping the accounts of Edo State will be credited before 12 noon on Friday to avoid an abrupt end to the 20th National Sports Festival. Simisola Jikun, TV360 News.
The federal government says the disagreements between it and the National Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, have been resolved, giving hope that the nationwide strike will be called off soon. Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Health, Adeleke Mamora, said this in Abuja on Wednesday at the press conference to commemorate World Health Day in Abuja. TV360's Abisola Adebayo has the details.
Going by the words of the Minister of State for Health, Adeleke Mamora, at this event, resident doctors will be back to their duty post any moment from now. Mamora says the contending issues between the federal government and the doctors have been resolved, and many of the doctors are already smiling to the bank.
The doctors that were not captured in the quota allocated by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, we have now agreed that they should be provided, these doctors should be profiled and paid. And as we speak now, those doctors are already being paid. That's the information we're getting from the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. And some of these doctors themselves have confirmed that this is the true situation. And I can say with all the emphasis at my disposal that this government has done so much for the health sector. That is the truth.
The minister urged that the principles of equity and fairness should guide both parties while an enduring solution is being sought to the challenges in the nation's healthcare system.
As we speak right now, the issues have been resolved. And I believe that the NARD, that's the National Association of Resident Doctors, will call up this strike.
The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, gave an insight on the significance of World Health Day and efforts by government to achieve the much talked about health for all.
Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the 2021 World Health Day edition with commitment to ensuring that everyone everywhere can realize the right to good health as demonstrated by the implementation of the components of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. And this is in line with the World Health Day theme we are celebrating this year.
The theme of this year's World Health Day, which is commemorated on April 7 annually, is titled "It's Time to Build a Fairer, Healthier World for Everyone, Everywhere." Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
Meanwhile, shortly after the minister's cheering speech, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, arising from its extraordinary National Executive Council meeting, unanimously voted that the ongoing indefinite strike that started on the 1st of April 2021 be continued until the federal and various state governments of Nigeria meet with all demands. In a 4-page communique released by the association and signed by the President, Secretary General and the Publicity Secretary, the body said despite efforts by doctors to reach an agreement, government has refused to do the needful to prevent the ongoing strike. The resident doctors say government has continued in their insincerity, hence the current stalemate. We are now being joined via telephone from Abuja by the second Vice President of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Juku Juma Ejiofor. Thank you very much, Dr. Ejiofor, for joining us on News Now. Now, is the association contradicting itself, contradicting what the minister said, that it has resolved all contending issues?
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, happy World Health Day. I would like to first of all say that the executives of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors did everything possible to prevent the onset of the strike. Their advocacy and continually writing letters out of the concerns of Nigerians. At this point in time, I can reliably say that the Honourable Minister of State for Health is not giving out the right information to Nigerians. We had 13 demands in our communique to the government and our ultimatum. So far, not one has been resolved. Even the first one he mentioned over the air here right now, which is the payment of the House officers, which is ongoing. It is marked with a lot of irregularities. People are receiving double salary, some are receiving half salary, and a lot of people are yet to receive salary. So anyone saying that they have met our demands is not being honest. Nothing has been said
Dr.
about the hazard
Ejiofor, there are
allowance.
reports that some resident doctors have received payments. Now, Dr. Ejiofor, if you can hear me.
Which I'm yet to get information from my president between the House of Reps chairman of the Health Committee and NAT. I'm yet to receive information from my president.
Now, Dr. Ejiofor, if you can hear me, we got reports that some doctors have started receiving payments, although the report said not all, but some. Could you tell us if this report is true or not?
As at yesterday, we had a National Executive Council meeting where every president of every center reported in via Zoom what was happening to payments being received by doctors across the country. Like I earlier said, the payments are riddled with irregularities. Some doctors don't even get a salary, some get half of what they should get, and some are getting double of what they should get. In this computer age, where things are meant to be seamless, we are actually at a loss of words at this point in time. The National Executive Council, as at yesterday, looked at this and other things in our demands and saw that the government was still being insincere and not coming out to actually solve the problem. Doctors are tired of signing MOUs over the years and nothing is being done. We don't want to come back here in 6 months' time or 8 months' time. We want everything fixed once and for all in the health sector.
Now, Dr. Ejiofor, what exactly is the way forward now? Because according to reports and what it seems to be like, the federal government is saying that the demands have been met, while resident doctors are saying that their demands have not been met. Obviously, this is a stalemate. What exactly should Nigerians be expecting?
Right now, like I said, we tried everything to prevent the onset of this strike. Doctors in Nigeria are part of Nigerians. We go to the same markets, we buy the same things. We even get help from the same hospitals. We drive on the same roads. We are Nigerians. But with the insensitivity of the government, you have a lot of brain drain ongoing. Doctors are being poached by the international community. We are trying a lot of things to keep our colleagues within the shores of this country. We don't want to wake up one day and see that there are very few doctors in Nigeria or none. The government should, as a matter of priority, address our demands in the interest of not just Nigerians, but every other person around who gets help from Nigerian hospitals.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ejiofor. If you can hear me, Dr. Ejiofor, thank you very much for speaking to us on News Now. And we certainly hope that the federal government listens to the cry of your association. That was the second national president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Ejiofor. Thank you very much for joining us on News Now. In a related development, the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria said its strike has not been called off because no concrete resolution has been reached with government. The legal advisor to Judicial, Marian Yusuf Gusu, made this known on Thursday in Abuja. She said the strike is still on while the body awaits the outcome of the negotiation. The body said it is not backing down until its demands are met. Judicial began an indefinite strike on Tuesday over continued delay to implement financial autonomy for the judiciary. President Muhammadu Buhari had on May 22, 2020 signed the Executive Order 10 for the enforcement of the financial autonomy status granted to state legislature and judiciary in the Nigerian Constitution. Hoodlums have sustained their attacks on police facilities and officers as another police station was attacked again in the early hours of Thursday in Ibieri, Umbatoli local government area of Imo State. This is a third attack in 1 week in which 2 police officers have been injured in a gun battle with suspected hoodlums. The Imo State Police Public Relations Officer Orlando Ikoku confirmed the incident which occurred at Ikoku, noted that the hoodlums were repelled by the officers on duty after engaging the bandits in a gun battle, but some suspects in the police custody were freed by the criminals. He also confirmed that the injured officers are receiving treatment at a nearby hospital, adding that the inspector who was missing after the incident has reappeared. Suspected explosive materials have been uncovered at Union Primary School, Afaraku, in Umaiha North Local Government Area of Abia State. Confirming the development, the State Commissioner for Information, John Kalu, said the government is currently working with relevant security agencies in the state to unravel the source and nature of the explosives, while noting that no life or property was lost. The state government asked citizens and residents to continue to maintain vigilance and report suspicious situations to security agents. And joining us on News Now to give us more updates on this is Onyebuchi Ememanka, the Chief Press Secretary to the Abia State Governor. He joins us via telephone. Thank you very much for joining us on News Now. Now, can you tell us more about this development?
Well, I think the situation is being exaggerated. If you saw the official position of the Abia State government as released by the Commissioner for Information, the identity of what was discovered has not been proven yet. The security agencies are still on it, and the equipment or whatever it is that they saw has undergone some level of corrosion. So it is definitely not something new. It's definitely not something that is designed to cause any immediate harm. Our hypothesis is that these are Civil War relics because it's quite corroded, it's quite old. So, but because we do not want to make any mistakes or go into any conjectures, we simply are waiting for the security agencies to come up with a definite description of what they discovered.
Thank you very much for coming on News Now. Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has been described as a visionary woman who has contributed a lot to the nation building through her various programs to empower women. National Leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, said this on Thursday at the public presentation of Aisha's biography titled Aisha Buhari Being Different, written by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Administration and Women Affairs, Haji Sani. The APC leader, who is the chairman of the occasion, said given the First Lady's achievements, no one can reasonably question the role of First Lady any longer. He said the First Lady has played an uplifting, unifying role both in symbol and substance. Tinubu said Aisha Buhari has been a voice of conscience, calling Nigerians to be better people for the good of the nation and for the betterment of the weakest and the most vulnerable ones. Sympathizers are still trooping to the residence of late spokesman of Afenifere, Yinka Odumakin, to condole the family and relatives over the demise of the activists. Former Deputy Governor of Osun State, Yola Omishore, former lawmaker Senator Tokunbo Fikuyomi, and many other sympathizers eulogized the life and times of Yinka Odumakin, describing him as a man of integrity and vision.
Mr. Yinka Odumakin lived a very strong life, a very focused life, a very determined life. He was very, very passionate about the Yoruba race and about Nigeria and sorting Nigeria out, and he committed his life to it. It tells us that number one, we should be focused. Number two, we should be committed. Number three, we should be dogged. Number four, we should fight for what we believe in. And number five, we should leave the rest in the hands of God.
Many great people never lived long. Jesus Christ never lived long. Bob Marley never lived long. Lucky Dube never lived long. So it's not how long you live, but how well you live. You can see the stream of people that have been coming here. That shows the impact he made on society. He made a great impact, and I hope we'll all emulate that by not running away from issues.
It's hard to believe, so Mr. Yinka Odumakin of blessed memory was an uncommon patriot. Somebody with love, deep love for Nigeria, who spent much of his time sacrificing the time, the energy, the resources to see to a better Nigeria.
Now we'll take a break here, but still to come, a Federal Inland Revenue Service set to implement new tax law. And let's take a recap of some of our top stories. The Abia State government has directed that the local organizing committee and the main organizing committee offices of the ongoing National Sports Festival in Benin City be shut down. And we also told you that the federal government and resident doctors are yet to reach an agreement on the ongoing strike by the doctors, which has paralyzed activities at all government hospitals in the country. The government said on Wednesday that it has reached an agreement with the doctors, but the doctors sharply disagree, stressing that no agreement has been reached. In case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. An anti-COVID-19 stories and updates. France has given the first jab of its COVID-19 vaccine to 10 million people, Prime Minister Jean Castex announced on Thursday amid an acceleration in the rollout after a sluggish start. France fell behind its European neighbors after the start of vaccinations in January, but is now jabbing an average around 200,000 to 300,000 people per day. EU members have faced a shortage of doses, which has been blamed on centralized purchasing and distribution system. We'll take a break here and return with more stories and business. Just stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app.
Let's now join Abisola Adebayo to bring us up to speed on the latest in the world of business and stock market review.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. In its bid to seal up loopholes and ramp up revenue generation, the Federal Internal Revenue Services (FIRS) is set to deploy its automated tax administration system. According to a statement signed by the Executive Chairman of Nigeria's FIRS, Mohammed Nami, the automated taxation system will enable the agency access for tax purposes, data, and information record of taxable individuals and businesses. In this next report, our correspondent takes a look at the implication of this development on businesses as well as taxation in Nigeria.
Come May 1, 2021, the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) will access for tax purposes all data and records held in systems of all taxpayers. This, the agency says, is in line with Section 25 of the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act of 2007, as amended by Finance Act of 2019. Experts says a new automated tax administration system will, among other things, simplify taxation processes in Nigeria.
The aims of the FIRS is to simplify the tax administration in Nigeria. Simplification because you have so many complex issues around the taxation and its administration as of today. But with the advent or introduction of this technology, you expect certain things to be eased up. And as I said earlier, yes, we expect some teething problems, but this will just be for the beginning. And once the system sets rolling, we expect seamless, because technology in itself, while we know there are human intervention, but the system should be able to run.
But for Bruno, an entrepreneur, the age-long distrust between government and the people, as well as non-accountability of public funds, are issues that must first be addressed.
I don't have any issue with FRA having access to mine. I don't have anything to hide. Do you understand? I don't have anything to hide. But for businesses that have something to hide, they will not allow them to have access to them. And they have a reason for not allowing them. Do you understand? Because most businesses in this country, the things that they expect the government to do for them, they're not doing it. You're running a business, you don't have grants, you don't have palliatives, and the dollar is going up. Most of the things that we use in this country are imported. Everything is going up, and all that. So you're providing these things for yourself. We are paying for security. We are paying for life. We are paying for most of these things. But if the government is providing all these things, then it becomes very easy for us to pay our taxes.
However, in its apparent determination to implement the automated tax administration system, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, in its statement, drew the attention of all taxpayers to the penalties prescribed in Section 26 of the FIRS Establishment Act for failure to grant the necessary access. While advising taxpayers to cooperate with the FIRS guidelines, experts expressed optimism of smooth synergy between federal and state tax agencies in the implementation of the automated taxation system.
Some business owners may challenge the introduction, but I'm aware that this has the backing of the law, and people are somewhat skeptical about privacy. So that's another, and are given access. Also, the coverage of this particular system needs also to be checked, because when you talk about FIRS, there are limits to the activities which they can perform.
Despite Nigeria's late entrance in the world of automated tax administration, hopes are high that this new solution would address some of Nigeria's taxation problems. Folashade Ogrinde, TV360 News.
We'll take a pause here and return with stock market review. Do stay with us. Thursday's trading session closed with the bulls dominating the market today as the Nigerian stocks recorded a 0.07% increase in key market indicators, with the all-share index closing at 38.799 basis points. Market capitalization also gained over 14 billion naira today to close at 20.300 trillion naira. Winning big today, that's our top gainers. As you can see right here, we have CHI PLC and Judicial Gold for the second time this week, and our list of top 4 gainers is Owando and Aiko. They all recorded a combined 30 kobo gain. Meanwhile, the shares of Royalex, Jais Bank and Honey Flower, as well as Linkage Assurance, the shareholders lost confidence in their brands today and sold off lots of shares, resulting in a drastic drop in their share price. They lost a combined 17 kobo loss. Let's now take a look at our market summary today. On our market summary, we can see that 145 million volume of shares valued at 1 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,525 deals. On the foreign scene, however, that's the FTSE, the Nikkei, and the Dow Jones. The FTSE maintained its recent resilience and outperformance as it hit its highest level in over a year today, trading above 6,920 at its highest since the pandemic struck and the global markets plunged. It recorded a 0.83 The Dow Jones also recorded a 0.045% as leading the way as old school stocks continue to generally outperform, and despite reports of chip storage problem, it still ended in the positive territory. The Japan stocks, however, that's the Nikkei, could not manage to keep its head above water as it recorded a 0.07% decline today at the close of trading. That's all on Stock Market Review. It's back to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Bisola, for bringing us up to speed on the latest in business and stock market review. Well, up next is entertainment reports.
Prince Ned Nwoko Foundation is set to empower the creative industry with millions of naira and a platform to stardom. The founder is inviting creative talents across Nigeria to interpret its Antarctica experience in different creative genres such as music, short film, drawings, and poetry. The founder stated that anyone in the creative industry who can interpret his experience to create awareness on the surge of malaria in Africa could win 5 million naira. He added that this event will put together to commemorate the World Malaria Day. Top 10 best entries will be invited to Abuja for the grand finale on 25th of April, being World Malaria Day. Following its premiere at the recently concluded IREP International Documentary Film Festival, Unmarked will debut on April 8, 2021. A collaboration between Zuri 24 Media and Dara Media, the documentary is an extensive narrative that chronicles the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria and its effect on the economy. Concentrating on Lagos and Kaduna, the documentary is produced by filmmaker Femi Odugbemi and co-produced and presented by journalist and media entrepreneur Kadaria Ahmed. And that is all that we have for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment now to sports. Although there is uncertainty if the National Sports Festival will continue on Friday due to the issue of funds between the federal government and Abia State government, however, activities are still ongoing. But let's now join Mudashiru Shitu, who is standing by in Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium for an update. And thank you very much, Mudashiru, for joining us on News Now. Can you tell us what the situation is like now in Abia State? I simply hope the athletes are not disappointed with the news that the festival may be shut down tomorrow.
Really, I think we need to give the athletes kudos, Shadi. I need to let you know that in between the periods of 24 hours, whether the sport festival is going to be shut down or not, you will not feel that in the athletes' in the athlete activities. Goals have been winning, medals have been going on, and people have been going on their daily activities as regards to the scheduled games they had. You will not even feel as if there was an announcement. That is how determined the Nigerian athletes at this edition of the National Festival are. However, on the issues at hand, it's good to know that both sides have come to a compromise, and a worthy compromise, that the LOC, the local organizing committee, who is led by project manager Musa, is that the games will continue. And this is after the end of the meeting between the chairman, the deputy governor of the state, and the LOC has decided that the games will continue. So there is no fracas, as the case may be, whether the game should go on or not. So all things being equal, the 2020 National Sports Festival taking place in 2021 will go on, and we expect more goals and more medals. Away from that issue, I want to bring your mind to squash. where we have the Olatunji sisters. It's the final in the women's singles final, women's team final, rather, between Jemisi Olatunji and also Busa Olatunji. They defeated their counterpart from Kwara State 2-0 to emerge as the gold medalists of the women's team event. So I think it's a very, very good one for the Olatunji sisters. And looking at how they started, these same sisters won the same event in 2018 in Abuja. And I also let you to know that games are going on. Table tennis is going to start tomorrow. The lawn tennis is yet to be concluded. Also cycling. Cycling has 16 medals in this competition.
And now, Mudashiru, thank you very much for that brilliant update from Edo State. Thank you very much for joining us on News Now. But we certainly hope that the sports festival continues. But that is if the federal government and Edo State government resolves this issue of funds. But thank you very much once again for joining us on News Now. Well, it's a wrap on our news bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. I am Fola Shadi for Green Day.